act now for the future of our children and our children's children.
And I ask you to see the Philippines not just a collection of islands, but as a nation whose people are quite literally moving the world.
Today, we're very privileged and lucky to have someone with us, a lady boss babe, I think naligaw sa isang industriya na hindi mo aasahang babae na nandun at very successful, no? She is also a visionary who dreams of connecting the Philippines via ships. Please welcome on Great Conversations, we have Mary Ann Pastrana.
Hi, Pam, and hello everyone who's engaging in great conversations. I am grateful to be here, Pam. Thank you.
Thank you for saying yes, no. We were supposed to do this last week, kaya lang sobrang busy ni Madam Lady Boss, no. How does it feel, no? You are in this industry na dominated supposedly by men.
Yeah.
But look at you, a young woman, and she's not very tall, guys, ha? But she is in the marine sector and is doing really great. She's really successful. How did you do it?
First and foremost, Pam, salamat naman na sinabi po niya, young daw ako.
Totoo naman.
Not really, because grandma na nga me.
Oh.
I always say grandma na. But yeah, I'm in this more gentleman world because of my marriage. You know, I always kid about it, Pam, na yung husband ko married, I took a course called agribusiness in UP. That's where we met. And so,
that's his course.
That's his course, agribiz. So, agree sa kahit anong business. Kahit po hindi yun ang talagang pinag-aralan namin. Siya po, agribiz. Ako po, nutrition sa UP.
Oh.
And then, he bought boats. Agree. Ayan, napunta po kami sa pagbabarko.
Oh,
Kaya kami napunta rito.
What started this journey na nasa nutrition, nasa agri supposedly lupa.
Yeah.
And here you are,
Yeah.
nasa dagat.
Exactly. You know, I come from a family of entrepreneurs naman. Both my
yes.
parents are into business. A business they founded, a business they continued also for my lolo, like a resort in Laguna. So, kumbaga, lumaki ako na exposed naman ako sa business. And then I married my husband. We first started working with my parents. But eventually, he found our business. And because nga agree na po siya ng agree sa kahit anong business, napunta po kami sa pagbabarko. So, it started with setting up a trading company. I think nakwento niya sa iyo yan. Yung
Yes,
nagtingga pa siya.
Oo.
So, we were managing the hot spring resort business of my grandparents in Laguna. And then, at the same time, sinabayan niya ng mga trading business, farming. Nako, ang dami kong kwento tungkol dyan. Mga nag-alaga siya na kahit anong pwedeng alagaan, tapos mga namatay. And it was really tough. And then trading business of bulk materials. And along the way, nag-tugs and barges. And then naikwento na rin niya sa'yo na from tugs and barges, naalok siya to have this Roro business on a leverage buyout agreement. So that's how we started. And then we realized soon enough that it's not the way to go, you know, to have second-hand ships because luma na siya, mas mahal ang maintenance, wala nang mabiling pyesa, mas malakas ng mag-consume ng gasolina. And so, he envisioned to have modern ships connecting the Philippine Islands, and that's where we are now. And thank goodness that he was able to find people who trusted us, you know, invested in us, and so we are here now. Of course, we have banks who helped us also. So yeah, that's how we came into the maritime business.
So speaking of banks, no, you just said a while ago, no, hindi na very helpful sa business na second hands yung mga ships. Isn't it capital heavy itong pagpapadating ng mga bagong barko?
Yes, actually, Pam, napakamahal, no? Very capital intensive itong shipping, no? The shipping as a hardware. And you know, if you look at the data in the Philippines, most of the ships connecting the islands would be second-hand ships that were bought in either Japan or Europe. And actually, we started with that business model until we saw that it's not gonna work because nga wala nang pyesa, and then yung operational expense mo mas mahal na, kesa dun sa pamasahe, hindi mo naman na itataas kaagad ang pamasahe, especially if we carry passengers. So, it's not the way to go. And of course, we are visualizing a stronger maritime industry in the Philippines. Why? Because I don't know if you know that the Philippines held the highest record of maritime deaths
Oh,
during peacetime, and that is during the Doña Paz accident,
yes.
where we lost 4,000 plus lives. And so, lagi tayong nasa forefront yan. And I always tell the young, na parang, gusto ba natin yon? Do we want to be known as the country with the highest record of maritime accidents? Maritime nation tayo because we are an archipelago with 7,641 islands. Isn't it that kung ikaw nga ay nasa napapalibutan ng karagatan, na nandyan yan, 80% water tayo, 20% land, hindi ba dapat mas magaling tayo sa pagdaragat?
Tama.
We boast that we are the mining capital of the world. No? So if there's 1 million seafarers running the global fleet, 25% of that would be Filipinos. That's why naman the global maritime community value the Philippines as being that contributor to the mining sector. And so,
So you mean to say 25% of how many?
1 million.
Pero ito, spread across the world.
Yes. Kasi the ships, di ba?
Yes, umiikot.
Okay, for the great conversations, followers and listeners, alam niyo po ba na 90% of goods in the world are using ships, to be delivered. So, ikaw ba, Pam, ay nagsha-shopping sa mga Shopee, Lazada?
Yes, guilty.
Oh, guilty, Temu, lahat po yan dahil dumadaan sa pagbabarko, yung tinatawag na last mile delivery.
Yes, oo.
So, imagine niyo po, 1 out of 4 na seafarers na nagpapatakbo ng barko sa buong mundo ay Pilipino.
Pero that's, malaking number ang 25%.
Exactly.
So-
That's why we are valuable in
Yes.
the maritime world.
But isn't that also scary because do we have enough left as yung taong bahay na nandito sa ating bansa naman?
Actually, Pam, mabuti na itanong mo yan. Kasi being in the domestic trade, that's one of our pain points. No?
Oo.
So here we are with modern ships, and then wala raw tao, walang makuhang tao. And I remember distinctly, nung luma pa po ito yung mga barko na to, umakyat sa akin yung crewing namin at sinabing, boss, hindi ho tatakbo yung isang barko. Sabi ko, bakit? Kulang po tayo ng chief engineer. Ano? Sabi ko, kulang tayo ng chief engineer? Di ba mining capital of the world tayo? Paano kulang tayo? And then we found out yung brain drain na tinatawag,
Yes.
Pam. They apply abroad because there's a demand abroad and they make 10 times more outside. So, hello, at saka naman, anong laban mo dyan, di ba? So, I said, okay, gets ko na yan, tanggap ko na yan. So then, magsisipag ako to build capacity. And I guess that's how we started our training arm because we said we have to build a smooth pipeline of maritime workers or professionals to serve not only the global fleet, but more importantly, in the domestic fleet, which is actually what we're doing.
Do you work with the academe?
Yes, yes.
You endorse
Yes.
your training courses to these
Yes.
courses, no?
Yes. So in our maritime education system, Pam, if they enroll in a course na BS or Bachelor of Science in Marine Transportation, specializing in deck or in engine room, they do 3 years of education in their school and then 1 year of cadetship program. Now, in that cadetship program, that's where they actually board the ships and, learn more about yung talagang shipping.
In the country.
No nga, meron international. Some are lucky enough to be hired by global or international ships. But the sad thing talaga is that there's not enough cadetship berths in the Philippines. That's why FastCat is actually a big help to a lot of the academe. We have like 21 partner schools who sends their students to us to do their cadetship. And I'm really happy that these cadets who trained with us are actually now international or now also serving the domestic fleet. So my point is, in what we're doing in connecting the Philippine Islands, we don't only connect the islands and serve our passengers, but we also affect other industries like the education, agriculture, of course, because ang mga bitbit namin ay mga magsasaka na may bitbit na saging,
Produce,
baboy, manok, na dinadala yan sa iba-ibang isla. So we also affect tourism. In fact, our ships are DOT accredited
Oo.
because alam mo, sa mga kwentuhan ko sa mga isla, talagang napakahalaga nung ferry because sa tourism, 7,641 islands, maraming isla. Kailangan mo ng barko unless
Yes.
swimming nila yung inter-island, di ba? So, kailangan mo talaga ng barko. And nagiging pain point ng tourism yan kung walang barkong masasakyan or mabagal
Yes.
or luma or may aksidente. That's gonna be bad for their record. So, this is an infrastructure project, yung connecting ships, these moving bridges is part of the infrastructure that must be laid out for our country to be developed, and yung ripple effect that it will do to other industries. That's how important this connection is.
I watched you on TED Talks, no, with Forbes Park.
In this talk, you will have a glimpse and a better understanding of the maritime industry. 95% of the world's goods uses shipping as a mode of transportation. Hence, we can safely say that shipping is the backbone of economies and it can grind to a halt without it.
Yes.
There you said that the maritime industry is the backbone of all economies,
Yes.
of most of economies. No?
Yes,
However, you also mentioned there, but you have become invisible.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by invisible?
Yeah. Kasi nga, 'di ba, hindi kami nakikita. Like if you're here, we're on the sea or ocean, 'di ba, parang you don't, yung salita na 'yon na what you see is what you get. The other one is out of sight, out of mind. Okay, out of sight, out of mind. So if you don't see the boats, then maybe you don't really remember or you don't appreciate. That's why I love talking about like, hey, we're kulang sa pansin. Kapansinin nyo kami because that's how important we are. And hindi kami nagpapapansin out of, nothing. But because sometimes you can't help it that if you don't see, if you don't remember, then you don't get the support that you need. You don't get the parang the value that must be given to it because of its importance. So for me, Pam, I feel that the maritime industry has a lot of potential. Like we can be bigger than where we are right now, only if we know this, and that if we get more help, support in like, for example, government. In other countries, ferry operators have subsidies. So example, my son used to work for NYC ferries or New York City ferries. So you know how they have different boroughs in New York. So it's being connected now by ferry boats, hindi lang subway, hindi lang kotse, hindi lang bus, train, hindi lang din plane, by ferry boats. So how the private and the public partners is that the shipyard or the lupa where the ships are stationed or dry docked is provided by the state. They even put the capital on the boat, but a private entity operates it. So that's how it works. Because governments realize that, it's part of their job. It's part of their job to provide that infrastructure. Parang kalye. Kung hindi ka makaprovide ng kalye sa lupa, dapat mag-provide ka sa lupa, pati sa karagatan.
Yes.
Kasi yun ang...
Hindi pwedeng putol eh.
Oo, hindi pwedeng putol. At yun ang nature ng ating bayan, di ba? Kaya nga, maritime nation, archipelagic. So, parang trabaho ng gobyerno na i-connect nila yan. Lagyan nila ng moving bridges. So, in other countries, they make sure that they provide the ships. So, example, nung nagsisimula kami dito sa pagbabarko, Pam, parang uso yung punuan. Hindi ka pwedeng tumakbo. Yeah, hindi ka pwedeng tumakbo ng hindi puno. Why? Because mahal kaya gasolina.
Oo.
Pag tumakbo ka, nagkukonsume ka ng gasolina. But if you don't have the traffic, paano yun? Magsusunog ka lang, wala kang kita. So, and then kulang naman yung barko. So, ang nangyayari, punuan, para bang jeep or bus, no?
Yes.
But when Chet, my husband, visualized this, he studied parang the weakness, o nag-SWOT analysis siya ng industriya. And that's why we came up with our tagline of very safe, very fast, very convenient, because we wanted to solve the problem of safety, the issue of safety. We want our boats to be safe because we carry our people, we carry
Yes.
cargo,
Yes.
valuable. So we don't want horror stories. We don't want people to be traumatized, and we don't want to continue to have that horror stories on maritime. So we said, address that, very safe. And then our ships are old, 20 plus years, 45 years, and so slow. And so we said, okay, if we're going to modernize, we will promise a speed that is faster than whatever speed the ships we have in the Philippines at that time, no? So we actually did that. Very safe, very fast, and very convenient. Kasi I think he also told you the story that when we first rode the Roro in Matnog, that I couldn't use the toilet.
Yes. Oo,
Hello,
na-hospital ka.
Na-hospital talaga ako. Pagbalik, Makati Med,
Oo.
straight, infection, umakyat sa kidney because I was holding my pee. Can you imagine that? And then, hindi comfortable.
Hindi
na
mo
parang-
kayang, bahala na.
I
talaga
tried
kaya.
once.
Hindi talaga kaya.
Yeah, I think it's human instinct. Parang human preservation. Parang na-trauma ka na, uulitin mo pa ba? So you do,
Pero you see
something.
people using
Oo
the
naman, hello,
toilet.
wala kang kaayusan eh. Like talagang may puddle ng tubig sa sahig, pero walang tubig yung toilet, tabu system. Yung parang, my God, nakakarating na ang mga tao sa Mars, tapos tayo, the basic toilet issue, hindi pa natin nasusolve, no? And then when we rode the boat, yung usok, like you actually eat, inhale the smoke, which is not really good for health. And nakaupo kami ni Chet doon, and then bigay ka na dahil sa ingay ng makina. So parang, hello, kung turista ka, paano mo may enjoy yung trip
Ilang
mo?
oras yun?
1 hour 45 of that, or the boat was slow. But basta nataalala ko, nakaupo kami ni Chet, tapos tumitingin kami ganyan, parang kawawa naman tayo, parang hanggang dito na lang ba tayo? And that's why when we kind of said, sana makatulong tayo dito sa industriya na to, because do we want this? And we're not do you think, Pam, na magdidikit-dikit ang mga isla by prayer or by magic?
We'll get to that connectivity later. But gusto kong balikan, ma'am, yung you said invisible ang maritime sector, no?
Yeah.
Whose responsibility is it na yung mag-drive ng information about it? Is it the government's responsibility or the ship owner's responsibility? Or it should
I guess
go...
both. I guess both, no? As our regulator, marina yan, no? But, our industry nga is complex na ang daming mga regulator and fragmented pa nga. So, example, marina gives us the permit, and then we go to the port. It's regulated by the Philippine Ports Authority. And then you have to get permits. So, LGU yan. And then may iba-iba ring rules sila. So, those are all the different government entities that we have to deal with. So, ikaw ba, magninegosyo ka, mag-i-invest ka ng bilyon sa barko. Diba? Can you imagine the impact of bureaucracy to you? And it's something that we had to deal with. And, thank God na unti-unti na nasusolve naman siya. Diba? But, it's all of our efforts put together. So, I guess, if you talk to government will say, well, I hope to have responsible ship owners. Because syempre, kami din na nag-ooperate. So, kailangan responsable din kami. So, it's all of us. If you're gonna ask me, it's all of us. But I'll tell you, in more developed countries, government takes the lead talaga.
Yes.
Government takes the lead. Leadership takes the lead. Anong priority mo? I'll tell you, I was in a learning event organized by the Entrepreneurs Organization, where we belong, no? Chet is a member, I'm a spouse, so I attend those learning events. And we had for a speaker, the chief strategist economist of UBS Bank, a 101-year-old bank from Singapore. And so I asked the question, oh, if you are going to be like the chief economist of the Philippines, what would you advise the president? Where would you lead our country so that we can take it to the level? Because the topic was the trends, global trends, and disruptions, and how we can learn from it so that we can adopt it in our businesses. So we talked about the tariffs of Trump, and then China, superpower China, etc. And so now let's talk about Philippines, because in his presentation, Philippines is actually lagging behind. We're kind of slow. Nauunahan na tayo ng Vietnam, di ba? Napag-iwanan na tayo ng China.
But how do you face people pagka ganyan? Na on the international stage na kulelat ang Pilipinas.
I know, that's why nga may nagtanong sa akin in relation to brain drain. When I said that, sadly, in the domestic trade, people tend to, young seafarers tend to, eye working abroad than domestic. And isa pa, people kind of think that iba ang standards ng international and domestic. They go, domestic lang naman yan, so okay lang. Walang PMS, walang safety, domestic lang naman. And I said, oh my God, wala, dapat pinagkaiba yan. Tubig
Yes.
ay tubig.
Yeah.
Diba? So we always say, global standards. Ano yung global standards? So it's sad that people have that mindset. That's why in FastCat, binura namin lahat yan. FastCat is internationally classed. So we really elevated the standards because dapat walang pinagkaiba. And when I present our modernization in conferences, which I actually do a lot, manning agencies who hire Filipinos for their global fleet would say, we've been waiting for this. That is the way to go. Dapat malakas kayo domestic, and then pinalalakas pa pag gumagawa sa labas. But it all starts here. Ang nangyayari sa atin, it's baliktad. We're eyeing to serve the global, tapos ang kulelat, ang tira, domestic. Which is actually what we're changing here, no? So what we are doing is like, this is global standards, this is what we must aim for, and then lakasan pa natin so that we can, yung malakas na yan, yun yung may opportunity tayo sa labas. In one of my experience, which I think I really am grateful for, that I have a chance to do, is when I get invited by maritime schools to be their commencement exercise speaker. So imagine kung 800 graduates yan, di ba? Tatayo ka doon, kakamayan sila. And pag kinakamayan ko nila, I always say, pwede kayong maging ship owner, ha? Hindi lang kayo limited to just manning the ships of other nationalities, or even in domestic. You can have your own ships. Like, okay, you can pool the money you earn internationally, have a boat that will serve tourism. Kung may grab sa grab taxi sa lupa, or dapat meron ding boat na gano'n sa mga island for scuba divers, for tourism, or simply transportation. But meron dapat. So anong ibig sabihin yan? Nag-ripple effect niyan. Maglalakas ang shipbuilding natin, ang boat building natin. Sana hindi na kailangang ang option natin OFW. I mean, nothing wrong there. They are our modern day heroes. We salute them. But alam natin may impact yan sa pamilya, di ba? May impact yan, nagkaka-impact yan. So okay, that's okay, but let's have more opportunities also for our country, di ba? So whether it's having a transportation service na boat, serving tourism, or putting their money in connecting the islands, farming, all of this can be done. Training, being part of the academe na maritime so that we get better, survey, inspections, quality management, ang daming opportunity sa maritime. That's what we want to say.
Did you seek the help of the government for an effort na, Mr. Government, allow us naman to be seen by many? Kasi with what you're saying, I cannot believe na you have remained invisible. Ang daming nangyayari na ships pala the ships made it happen. The seas made it happen. Pero yeah, just because hindi nga kayo visible sa peripheral, hindi kayo nakikita. Pero most of the economic process nasa dagat, nasa inyo.
Exactly.
Did you seek the help of the government to for that?
Pam, I've learned that parang I have stopped like complaining na like non-action. I have stopped just ranting, but I have learned that I should be part of the solution. I took a course in the World Maritime University called Executive Maritime Management, and one of the biggest takeaway in that course is that as ship owners or a maritime executive, we have the responsibility to tell the bigger community what's going on in our industry, such that it's not limited only to bad news, no? Such as not limited only to may lumubog, may nasunog, may na-hijack,
Yes.
or high fuel prices, but tell also the good that's happening. That's why I really took that to heart. That when we modernized, talagang I made sure that we communicated that, no. I think now, comparing to when we started here, I think there's a concerted effort from the different maritime stakeholders to get the awareness up. In fact, I was in a maritime event yesterday called Layag. So it's the opening of the Ocean Center, started by the United Nations on Sustainable Oceans. So they put 7 centers called Ocean Centers to talk about everything maritime. So not limited only to shipping and ports, but also technology, banking and finance, and of course the human element. So parang all of this we must talk about because we're talking about sustainability here. Like, okay, that's the uniqueness of the maritime industry. We all share one ocean.
Yeah.
Diba? So, this is all our responsibility, not just the responsibility of government, not just the responsibility of ship owners or the academe, but everyone's responsibility. So, in the UN Ocean Centers project, actually hopes to get that conversation going, and then parang sila yung center to direct movements so that we have an impact. One thing that must be communicated, Pam, to the bigger community is that, we already have climate change. Climate change is real.
Yeah, I wanted to ask that
Yeah.
Is it a risk sa
Of course.
sa industry?
Oh my God, big time. Big time. Sample, kami po, dahil may boat tayo, and so high tide, low tide, we have weather. So, yung mga ramps namin na kinonect namin sa port, maybe 10 years ago, now we have to adjust because the tides are higher. And just to move the tide, my God, millions yan.
Really?
Okay, that's one. Second, on weather. So I attend a lot of conferences, and I sit in the board of Worldwide Ferry Safety, and we would meet in New York, in London, and together with Lloyd's Register Foundation, who actually puts a lot of money into, of course, safety. And one of the findings is that because of climate change, because of these mga sudden weather disturbances, it causes accidents and lives, especially to the fisher folks or the fishing community. Kasi sila yung boat, wala naman silang mga modern equipment.
Yeah.
So maglalayag sila, and then in the middle of their fishing activity, weather disturbance, and then we don't have a way of contacting them. And then, so the data we discussed, this was in 2023, I think it was like 100,000 lives lost for fisher folks.
Yung ang ayos mong umalis ng bahay,
Yeah.
mangingisda ka lang para pangkabuhayan at
Yes.
kakainin, hindi ka na nakabalik.
Hindi na. At hindi sila nabibilang. Like, nobody really checks kung naglayag sila and all, except for their small community.
Yes, yung sila-sila lang.
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
Kumbaga sa activity sa dagat, colorum sila.
Oo, ganun. No, sad, di ba? That's why, for me, sa FastCat, we now direct our efforts in CSR and helping them, no? Helping the fisher folks. I always tell my team na sila yung tutulungan natin because we know, kagaya ng sinabi nga ni Ma'am Lenny Robredo, na parang tulungan natin ang mga nasa laylayan ng lipunan. And ito yung mga nasa laylayan, di ba? Like, kailangan natin silang tulungan so that maging ligtas sila. After all, sinong mangingisda para sa atin. Paano tayo kakain ng isda araw-araw kung wala itong mga fisher folks
Totoo.
na ito, di ba? Isa yan. At pangalawa pa, yung kaalaman nila tungkol sa marine environment protection, because itong issue ng climate change has something to do with the way we do our job every day, you know? And that's why in FastCat now, we're really embarking on decarbonization, you know? To put it in layman's term, tayo po ay nag-i-emit ng carbon emission when we buy fossil fuels, itong diesel natin, ganyan, diesel, charcoal, lahat po yan nag-i-emit ng carbon, and yung carbon emission na yan, yung nagbubutas sa ozone, pag nabutas yung ozone, kulit tayo sa protection, so global warming, natutunaw yung mga glaciers, yelo, tumataas yung tide, and so that's the impact of it. So and then yung emission is also not good for our health, no? So the IMO the United Nations through the International Maritime Organization created this goal of the planet Earth must be GHG neutral by 2050.
2050.
Yes, that's
Okay.
their target. So
25
and I
years
think
from
this
now.
was launched 2016. So ibig sabihin talagang plinano ito, and then every year they check asa na tayo in relation to our goal of GHG neutrality by 2050. And so I actually studied this, and so we check with our regulators, like, where are we with regards to that? What are we doing?
Where are your modern ships in those issues you said? Yung mga modern ships nyo ba, does it address the issue of is it
Decarbonization.
decarbonization?
Oo, decarbonization. So, you know, in other countries, because I was in a conference last March in Oslo, Norway, and I actually saw ships in Norway running on hydrogen. Okay, so hydrogen, and then battery, and then may renewables. In Sweden, meron na silang ship na run by methanol. Ganyan. Meron ng mga autonomous ship, you know, that parang yung mga taxi lang sa San Francisco na autonomous na, ganyan. Chet and I rode a boat made of the Mist 3 in Toronto, Canada, New York, Buffalo, New York to Toronto, sa Niagara Falls. Yung nagdadala ng mga turista. Kasi 15 minutes lang naman yon, fully electric na, powered by ABB. And we actually did that because si Chet is now thinking of the next generation of FastCats in the Philippines, and so he was
Bringing that here.
he's dreaming that our ships become hybrid na electric and diesel powered, because we cannot do electric because of the length of travel that we do. So mga 2 hours, 3 hours, hindi pwedeng fully
Hindi
electric.
kaya.
Wala pang ganyang technology. So we wanted to start with hybrid first. That's one. But since we cannot do that yet with our existing fleet, we are now including in our processes yung operational efficiencies, like installation of a decarb equipment that will clean the emission, and of course make our engines more efficient so that we save on fuel. That's one. Use of anti-fouling paint, so that when you apply that paint, hindi the barnacles and the algae, you know, it doesn't stick to our hull, which causes the drag, which causes us to slow down and consume more fuel. So that's also a decarbonization technique. Chet sits with our propeller makers so that, you know, we become more efficient, we save on fuel. We also plan operationally yung balance ng boat, you know, the way you operate a boat. Para bang pag nasa bahay ka, meron kang mga strategy paano ka makakatipid sa kuryente, kasi ang mahal ng kuryente sa atin, di ba? So that's what we're doing. That's the small baby steps that we are doing so that we can decarbonize. So operationally, and then on the components of the ship, how we can be more efficient. So, yun nga, use of paint, use of digitalization. So, yung iStow, we use a software that will balance our stowage. so that it's balanced and it's more efficient, so that, again, you save on fuel. So again, these are decarbonization strategies that we are applying. And of course, wag natin kalimutan training people about this, and being data-driven. So we study the data. What was our performance? What was the fuel consumption at this speed, at this weather, at this tide? Mga
Is
ganyan.
the marine industry data-driven? Yung kayo na ship owners. The industry itself, is it data-driven? Is it readily available if someone asks you, ano ang, let's say, ilan ang number ng accidents nagkaroon na sa ship ninyo, sa ship nila, sa ship ng lahat, or any. It's like the frustration we have with, let's say, with some other agencies in the government, no? Let's say, for example, PNP. When we say ilan number ng crimes na ganito, yung iba walang records eh.
Yeah,
Do we
exactly.
have the right records sa marine industry para makatulong sa mga research and development of improving things?
Yeah. To answer that, I know that our marina already started digitalizing their processes because they're very open in announcing that. Of course, we're very happy. I think they started with yung mga seaman's book, ganyan.
Yeah.
So ngayon, alam na nila ilan ang marina, ang marina, ilan ang seafarer. And then, alam nila kung ilan ang barko na nakaregister sa atin, ganyan. So, they started already. But in Europe, of course, they're developed and they have money. Now, nare-regulate na rin pati emission. Yeah, and I always share this story with our team here na,
We should follow, no?
yes, that's the goal. That's the goal. So like when you ride a taxi, when they print the receipt, nakasulat doon ilan ng natipid mong carbon emission because it's an electric car. Things like that. So they're big on regulation. They're already doing it. The people, the businesses, ship owners, transportation companies are really parang slapped with penalties if they don't follow.
Yes, oo.
In fact, nag-evolve na yan na natitrade na nga nila yung carbon credits, di ba? Ganyan. So, if you're going to talk about here in the Philippines, I know Marina already started. But again, all of this takes time, no? Hindi siya overtime di ba?
Yes.
So, in all the conferences na pinag-uusapan ng mga maritime incidents and accidents, one of the big issue would still be having that database.
Yes, oo.
Like, who manages that? Who owns that? That must be seen and that must be
Who supplies
shared.
the data? Who keeps the data, di ba?
Yes.
Oo.
So, we were involved in a research which was EU-funded called Safe Mode. And that was actually one of the output of the research, the recommendation, to have a database.
Yeah.
Because if we are data driven, then we make good decisions.
Yes, easier and
Yes.
better decisions,
Yes.
no? Oo.
And in our company here in Pascat, that's what I tell our people. We must be data driven because otherwise one could be overwhelmed. Parang isipin mo, daming gagawin, anong uunahin ko? But if you're data-driven, alam mo, nababasa mo yung
It's
datos.
faster, no?
Yes, anong isosolve ko?
Yes.
Anong uunahin ko? Anong priority ko? So we're driving that, but yeah, to answer your questions, government already started, Marina in that case, started digitalizing. So that's also how important digitalization is.
Yes.
That's how important different agencies, different maritime stakeholders must act and less fragmented and communicate this. Yesterday I was nga in that maritime event and the administrator Sonia Maliluan said naman that between Marina and Coast Guard, kasi ang nag-i-implement ng mga batas na sinusulat ng Marina ay ang Coast Guard. Sila yung nasa coast natin So from her report, she said that they have quarterly convergence meetings where they discuss whatever has to be discussed. Because in the beginning, that was my question too Parang, so fragmented tayo, di ba? Parang, ako yung gagawa, ikaw yung mag-i-implement. So, does it stop there? Nag-uusap ba?
Oo,
Di
yun
ba?
nga.
So, yun,
Hindi
sinabi-
pwede may initiative ka, may initiative sila, pero hindi kayo nagsasama-sama.
Exactly, yeah.
Walang pupuntahan yan.
Exactly.
Di ba? Yung sa natin, yung mga ships na yan, wala pang hybrid. Dito, in country, in the Philippines.
Wala pa.
O will you,
Well, in FastCat, Pam, meron
do you want
na
to be
dyan-
the first in country?
Siyempre nangangarap tayo ng ganyan. Total,
Oo.
tayo na yung unang nag-modernize.
I think kaya nyo.
Tayo na yung unang nag-modernize. So, nangangarap tayo ng ganyan. In fact, I also do a podcast on maritime called Anytime Maritime. And I also interview different maritime stakeholders just because we want to increase awareness on maritime and talk about anything maritime. And so I kind of asked that question also. It's like, what do you think? And then, I get the answer na, ma'am, kung may gagawa niyan sa Pilipinas, sa tingin ko yung fast cut po yun.
Tama, di ba?
Yeah.
Visionary ka naman di ba? You have to already claim it happening.
I give credit to Chet for that. So, it's really him naman na nagli-lead dyan. And then I follow. I follow.
Mentioning Sir Chet, no? How does it feel or does it add to the success of the company that couples like you work together?
Well, of course naman, I guess, because who else will love this business than us, di ba? Than us. If we founded it together, then who else will love it more than us? So, like what he said, destiny. So, if we feel now, at this point in my life, Pam, na I have 4 kids, they're all graduate na, I've been here a while, I have come to realize that maybe God put us here for a mission, because one of the things that parang added to that is, do you know that we got married in June 25, and June 25 is the International Day of the Seafarer. Yeah. So parang sa wow, siguro talagang God put us here for a mission. And so, if God put us here in a mission, I parang trust that God will guide us. He put us here because maybe He sees that, He put the talent to do this complex business. So yeah, I look at it that way.
You said kanina, no, na lola ka na. Ilan na ang apo niyo, ma'am?
4 po.
4.
Opo.
But, well, mentioning your kids, mentioning your mga apo, and then, obviously, you're already so successful, no? Why bother still make a difference? Pwede ka naman mag-time out, ayoko na. Sa bahay na lang ako, magmamaganda ako doon.
Actually.
Di ba?
Actually, Pam.
At least mas relax ka.
Oo. Pag napapagod
Why
ako.
bother make a difference?
I know. There are times, to be honest, there are times that I get to that point na sabi, oh my God, why am I doing this? Like, it's so hard. And I catch myself actually sighing a prayer when the going gets rough. I tell the Lord talaga, Lord, ang hirap naman ito. Like, if you have problems, example, Pam, nabangga yung barko.
Lalo
Oh
pera
my God.
lagi yan.
Ay, naku.
Palabas lagi ang pera.
Yeah. Or example, nung we did this modernization, and then we had the boats floating, hindi namin magamit yung sarili naming barko because our laws were not there. Or kung may nasulat mang
May
law,
ganun?
yes, may nasulat mang law, walang IRR daw.
And
Wala-
then, how do you now implement the law without an IRR?
Exactly. My God, we saw that. And in all my friends, we were bleeding. At any one point at that time, we could have died. We could have died. Died. When I say
Yeah.
died, like we could have, went bankrupt or na-heart attack kami sa lahat ng mga stress na pinagdaanan namin to connect the Philippine Islands.
And not just you, yung mga nakadepende dun sa line na yon na nahinto.
Exactly.
Di ba? May ano din yun, may epekto sa kanila.
Well, actually, hindi na hinto kasi modern ship na bagong ilalagay mo. But sana nasiserbisyohan na yung Pilipinas. So we would have wasted time.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's really, like we could have died at any one point when that happened. But yun na nga, so far buhay pa naman kami. So that's when I realized na, okay, kasama namin si God dito. May basbas ni Lord to. So kahit anong hirap ang pinagdaanan namin, He saw us too. And that's why we're here na and growing the fleet. And I realize now, hindsight, that because we were the first nga to bring in modern ships. Wala pa, dati puro second hand. So kulang din sa batas. And hindi din ready yung ating mga regulators to welcome modern ships. So, yan yung growing pains na pinagdaanan namin na, to do what we did, no? So, talagang,
Yan
oh
yung
my God.
disconnect ng industriya sa disconnect naman ng kakulangan sa gobyerno. But you keep saying that connectivity is very important
Of
sa
course.
how important and why do you value connectivity?
Babalik tayo dyan sa ating ano ba yan, geography, topography, na tayo napapaligiran ng karagatan. Kaya kasi ko, unless lalanguyin natin. Languyin mo mula, yung Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, which is not really possible. So, kailangan talaga natin ng ships. And kailangan natin ng modern ships. Kasi kung puro luma, prone ka rin sa accident. Maraming namamatay. Hindi lang yan, malakas sa gasolina. Hindi lang yan, mabagal. Can you imagine the speed, So, nangangarap kami, Pam, sana na talagang we take it to the next level. Yung sana may pagbabago. I remember this conversation I had with the dentist here in Alabang. I had a dental treatment and then nung nalaman niya maritime industry ako, sabi niya sa akin, ano mo yung kapatid ko is a ship captain and then served marina. And then pag binabantayan namin ng maritime industry, parang naging stagnant na. Parang wala nang nangyari sa atin. Parang anong nangyari sa atin? Isn't it good to hear like example, in China, maglev, yung high-speed train, or in Japan, excited ka po sumakay sa bullet train. Tapos tayo, hello, bangka pa rin tayo, or mabagal na barko, or second-hand ships. Di ba gusto mo naman mala Tesla, electric, di ba? Example, when we opened the route Bulalakaw to Katiklan, so we would spend time in Bulalakaw. That's the tip of Mindoro. And naging kaibigan natin yung mayor doon. And then, pag nandun ako to work, sasabihin niya sa akin, Ma'am, sige, papagamit ko sa yung municipal boat. Gamitin mo para mag-island hopping kasi. Ako naman, okay, sige po, Mayor, salamat po. Pagsakay ko doon sa boat, municipal boat, natisod na ako. Nasugat yung toe ko. Tapos pag tisod kong ganyan, nauntog naman po ako dito. So, ang sakit ng toe ko, ang sakit ng ko, tapos nakaupo ako doon para pumunta kami sa isang island, Aslom Island yata yun. Ang ingay ng makina, so bingi na ako, 1 hour. So how else do you expect me to enjoy the island?
Yes.
Diba? May sugat ako sa to, may untog ako dito, bingi na ako sa ingay. So pagbalik, I have to be honest and tell Mayor that. Sabi ko, Mayor, kasi po yung design po ng boat, ito yung nangyari sa akin. See, okay, that's just what I'm saying. We want to do better, right? In fact, may batas pa na face out na yung mga wooden boats na yan.
Talaga?
Oo.
Pero parang nagkalat pa rin sila.
Because nga, it's not easy. You know why? Because it's a complex thing. Hindi pwedeng ma-solve ng isa lang. So, halimbawa, Fisher Foca, pinapa-face out niyo po sa akin. Ano pong alternative? Ano po? Anong design? Anong material? Available ba yan? Afford ko ba yan? Kung hindi ko afford yan, may financing po ba? Paano niyo po papahiram sa akin?
Yung kukunin mo yung pangkabuhayan ko nang wala akong kapalit.
Exactly. Actually po, I tell them this when I tell government this. Sabi ko, kasi po, minsan po, ang hirap na magbibigay lang kayo ng ganyang regulation, pero hindi nyo naman kami inoferan ng solusyon. And here in FastCat, this is the training that I give and I require of our people. I say, pag may problema kang ilalapit, make sure na may offer ka ring solusyon. It doesn't stop with you telling me the problem, but offer me a solution. Then maybe we can solve it together.
Yeah, because that's again the disconnect on how you want things to happen.
Exactly. Tapos hindi ka naman nag-o-offer ng solusyon.
Yung implementation mo.
Exactly.
Hindi sila
Exactly.
hindi bangga.
Yeah.
Diba?
And so Pam, I sit in the advisory group of the Philippine National Police Maritime Group, as chairperson, and I sit in their quarterly meetings and I listen to the issues of the PNP Maritime Group. And that's how I also give my advice to them. I say, kasi po ang pulis hindi dapat huli lang ng huli, di ba? Parang ano ba yung issue? Anong pwede mong maitulong? And then, anong pwedeng gawing paraan na matulungan mo sila ma-solve yung issue nila para hindi ka huli ng huli? Because it's one thing that you're there na enforce ka ng law, pero hindi mo naman ako tinulungan na paano ko masosolve yung problema na yan. So yeah, that's how we train. So yeah, that's the way we work here. We want to be, offering solution to our customers, not only to, just bringing them in the other side of the island or connecting them, but also affecting the bigger community. So we're very much customer-centric. Talagang nasa puso po namin ang ating mga mamamayan. turista, ang mga may rolling cargo, farmers, pero we want to affect the bigger community. So example, Pam, yung ginagawa naming decarbonization strategies of using anti-fouling paint, we saw how important it is, and we saw how much it impacts not only us, economically, but also the marine environment. So now, we share that technology to fisher folks, to communities. Of course, hindi namin naman magawa kagad yan, but as a CSR, at least we started. And then in my interface and interaction with these fisher folks, ang sinasabi nga nila sa akin, ma'am, hindi naman ho namin alam yan. Wala namang nagsabi sa amin yan. So again, babalik tayo sa kagaya ng ginagawa ng Ocean Centers that, get the communication going and have more people engage and participate so that we solve problems.
But how do you get the LGU involved? Kasi si LGU, I think, yung mas makakapagpababa ng impormasyon dun sa ating mga mangingisda. Because you're not present there every day.
I know.
Diba?
I know.
Has there been initiatives from your end to work with the LGUs?
Yeah, yung sa Zambales na ginawa naming tungo sa makulay na paglalakbay, we worked with the Zambales Development Council.
Yun, yung mga ganun, no?
Together with Philippine Merchant Marine Academy where I took my master's. So yung aming SUP, yung head ng aming school, nung nakita niya that I did it for a community in Batangas because all of the FASCATs are registered in Batangas. So, home-ported in Batangas. So, we said, tutulungan natin yung mga area where we operate. Kasi ang pangarap ko, Pam, habang naglalayag si FASCAT sa karagatan at may mga fisher folk, pag nakita nila si FASCAT, masabi nila na, kaibigan namin yan, katulong namin yan, parang big brother namin yan. So, yun po yung pangarap, kaya sila po yung tinutulungan natin. And now, yun nga, napagtahi-tahi natin lahat yung datos na nakukuha natin sa domestic and then sa international, out of the conferences, out of the organizations where we are members of, like Interferry, like Worldwide Ferry Safety, whose advocacy is basically safety talaga and sharing best practices in the industry. Nadadala natin dito para hindi naman left out ang Pilipinas. So, doon nga, Pam, nung in-invite si Chet maging member ng Interferry, and he presented in New York in 2010, and we became members after that, 2011. He shared this modernization story, and he showed pictures of the accident, yung Doña Paz. Alam mo ba, yung mga participants ng conference, mga naluha. Nahantig sila na parang, oh my God, that means we're not doing our job well if accidents like that still happen. But in my case, when, we first attended the conference, and we are with the likes of Grimaldi Lines, the owner of Grimaldi Lines, Stena, like, in my head, I'm thinking, oh my God, they're like big fish, and who are we? Ang liit namin. Ang liit namin, pero anong ginagawa namin dito? And it has a cost. It's not free, di ba? You have to pay for your pamasahe when you join the conference. May bayad to attend the conference. But you know what? Now, Chet was invited to sit in the board. Naka 12 years na siya as board. Now they invited me, or I was voted to sit in the board starting October. I realized that sometimes you just have to say yes because you just say yes. Kahit, not thinking na maliit ka, malaki sila. No, we're all the same. We're all ferry operators. We're stakeholders, maritime stakeholders. You just say yes. You bring the best you can give. Kasi meron ka rin naman palang ma-share sa kanila. In fact, we just came from Africa where we shared the FASCAT story, and we were invited by Interferry and yung regulators nila sa Africa to share our story because they saw that our data in the Philippines had improved because of the modernization and the training that we are doing, improvement in education. They saw that, and nakita po sa datos na bumababa na po ang accidents dito sa atin. But in Africa, they're not there yet. So they invited us to inspire and to speak. And Chet and I, lalakasan din namin ang loob namin na, because we want the Philippines to be represented.
True.
Para hindi tayo puro lang nega, di ba? Hindi lang negative news na Pilipino ganito, Pilipino ganito. No! May pagmamalaki din po tayo at meron din pong nice stories to share.
Di ka na mapagod? No, ang dami. You're still studying?
Yes.
And you have...
I'm taking up my PhD in maritime affairs. I have to emphasize maritime affairs because sometimes when I say that, somebody would repeat and say, marital affairs. Hindi ko po pinag-aaralan yung marital affairs. Maritime affairs.
Diba, it takes so much of your time. I just want to ask, no, kasi you mentioned kanina,
Yeah.
minsan tinatanong mo, ano ginagawa ko dito?
Exactly, yeah.
Dito na lang ako sa mga apo ko and all.
Exactly.
Hayaan ko na lang si husband siya na.
Yeah.
But you know, did you ever ask yourself what kind of pain, failures, or challenges will make you stop and say, I quit?
You know, Pam, I realized that the maritime industry or shipping, in this case, so ship owning, which we do, is not a service industry business. You know, like maybe restaurant. So it's highly technical, And if we are not precise in our ways, in our mindset, in our ways, it costs money, it costs inefficiency, it costs lives because these accidents happen out of inefficiencies, out of kapabayaan, walang preventive maintenance. So there has to be a change in how we do things. We know that it's not only the Philippine data, but globally that there's a decline in the quality of education. And I kind of attribute it to that. And so when I ask myself, bakit ba ako nagpi-PhD? I answer, and people ask me that also, like, why are you still studying?
Why?
Yeah. Because I tell my family that I want to be, credible in what I do. Because you earn respect if you are good in what you do. You got to show people that you mean business. This is not like you do something you do part-time or haphazard. Kasi nagbubuhat po tayo ng buhay. Nagdi-deliver tayo ng goods. You know, we connect the islands. This is big mission work for our country. This is involving nation building. This is keeping us as one. Because nga, divided na yung nation. Hindi pa, Pam, alam mo bang iba ang suman sa Mindoro, sa suman ng Mindanao, sa suman ng Laguna? May differences tayo. But when we connect the islands, we kind of help in each island, each province get to know each other. So it involves us. It affects us as a people. National unity and nation building. May mission work. So if I am in that mindset, then we don't think of retirement. Natatapos ba yan? Hindi. And I always tell the young now that, look, if we don't fix it now, what's going to happen to your generation and the next generation and the next generation? So, to answer your question, napapagod din naman. Pero, Pam, I'll tell you, we're not the type who abuse ourselves. You know, we're very much into self-care. Like, hindi yung talagang rattled ka na, yung ngarag po, no? No, I sleep 8 hours every night. I sleep well. I exercise. Chet and I have a personal trainer coming to the house 3 times a week. Every day I exercise. Either I walk, I do Peloton, we see our doctors regularly. Kung nakikita mo naman yung naksaman, ang facial.
Totoo naman.
Yung anak kong doktora, si Doktora Pat, dermatologist po siya.
Oo.
Alagang Pat po yan.
Talaga?
Kumbaga may PMS ang kotse, siya rin po may PMS sa amin. Ma'am, due ka na sa Botox.
Ay, hindi halata. Totoo ba?
Oo, magaling yung anak ko, praise God, na talagang may talent siya na, she makes it look natural, pero may medical intervention po yan. So, these things. So, what am I saying, Pam? The reason why I'm saying that is because people think na if you run an enterprise like this, like you're so garag na wala ka ng buhay. No. On the contrary, talagang we're very proactive with our health. Yung regular annual checkup. Ano bang regalo ko sa asawa ko pag birthday niya? Executive check-up. Hindi ko na siya niriregaluhan ng regalong gamit. Ang regalo ko sa kanya, executive check-up. Nasabay kami. Okay.
Bonding niyo yun.
Bonding namin yun. And then I'm big on a clarity break. So we make sure that we have, rest. We have a house by the sea. where we go to, and spend time to rejuvenate and to renew. So yeah, we're big on that. And of course, daily prayers would be there. So I go to mass every day as much as yun talagang everyday po ang target ko sa buhay ko. And of course, I do na rin journalizing every day. I've been doing it for like 8 years. Yeah, so it helps. Kulang
Ang dami
na pag
mong
wala.
notebooks.
Digital.
Digital. Wow.
Oh!
Techie mommy, techie wife, techie lola.
That's not really my strong suit because nung nag-aaral kami ni Chet, wala pang computer. Typewriter pa po kami. So I'm not as fast as the young people would do it. But yeah, konti-konti. May iPad, tapos digital na po ang aking diary, tapos marunong na rin naman po ako mag-chat GPT.
Wow.
So nakakatulong na rin niya sa trabaho. I use it for my work, It helps me to be more efficient.
All journeys at some point will have to reach its final destination.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Where do you want yours to stop?
Of course, I believe in eternity and living in the next life. I always tell this story to remind my team na, di ba, pag pumunta tayo sa Puntod, sa Lapida, nakalagay, birthday mo, tapos dash, and then yung namatay ka. So that dash, that's your life. But yung namatay ka, that's the forever. So you gotta think about, anong mangyayari dito? Mukhang maikli. Pero hindi maikli yun. Our life here on earth is such a short time. Very, very short time that we think about it. We must think about it. So, eternity. Doon po ang pangarap ko. At pangarap ko po sana, yung buong pamilya ko, magkakasama pa rin kami doon for all eternity. Because I believe that that's why we were given life.
But do you see yourself saying, son or daughter, please take over. We don't want a non-family member to inherit the business for us. From you.
That's really part of our plan. So meron kaming talagang succession planning. We were talking about how ships are capital intensive. So when banks come every year, whenever we renew our lines, or they check our management, kasi laking halaga, di ba? Sine-check nila kung makakabayad ba kami talaga dun sa utang. So kasama po sa routine question nila at sa kanilang risk assessment is succession planning. And that's why our 2 sons actually studied abroad in a maritime school as well, because we wanted them to have this global, international education, so that their mindset and their scope also is global, so that we elevate the standards of how we do things in the Philippines. So we actually asked them, we said, so do you see yourself doing this? We don't force them. Hindi namin sinabing, dito ka ha, dito ka. No.
Are they showing interest?
They actually said yes. That's why they both went to a maritime school. But as to our 2 daughters, who the eldest nga is a medical doctor, and then the second one is studied culinary arts, trained in New York and Spain, and she has a food brand. Ayan, yung kinakain mong banana chips is what she trades to help farmers, and we sell inside the boat. They are also involved somehow. They also they take part in the management of our businesses and the maritime allied businesses. And that is how we see succession planning. We didn't force them, but they took part. And you know why? Because they see the value of the business. They see that we are impacting the country. They see that we are impacting the people. And they see that somehow, maybe this is the family mission. Think like tama ba ako? Noah. Noah's Ark.
Yeah.
Nung sinabi ni Lord kay Noah na, Noah, mag-build ka ng boat kasi may flood. Di ba? Buong pamilya din silang nag-serve. So yeah, for that, we're really, I'm thankful and grateful that, yun na nga, hindi namin sila pinilit, pero they showed interest. Even our eldest, Patricia, even if she has her own practice, she also parang
She gets involved.
set aside a fraction of her time to,
For this business.
Yeah, to be here because she knows she's ate, she's the eldest.
Yeah.
Kasi ano siya, MD, MBA, tapos may residency, tapos may post pa, pediatric derm. But she found time to
Mahilig talaga kayo mag-aral. Kasi nag-PhD
siguro
ka
nga.
rin.
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
Si Sir, tapos na siya, no?
Masters.
Nag-masters
so,
siya.
yeah, si Chet took up masters in entrepreneurship and then a program in MIT.
Ma'am, you mentioned kanina, you now know how to use ChatGPT.
Oo.
Is artificial intelligence a threat in the marine industry?
You know, a lot of people talked about that and kind of got worried about that. No? But over time, what we're learning is, okay, now we must embrace AI.
Yeah.
So now you have to take it to the next level. You know, the kind of service that you will bring, something that AI cannot do.
Yes. Oo.
Something that AI cannot do. But if you're gonna ask me if we use AI in our business, now we do. In predicting trends, in coming up with a dashboard that we have to see in the operation of our ships.
Oh, so you use it sa
Yes.
operations niyo?
Oh, yes.
Not to replace a human resource,
No.
but instead to augment yung process niyo.
Yes, and become more efficient. Because everybody's gonna be using that.
Yes.
Kapag hindi mo in-embrace yan, kulelat ka,
maiiwan
mauhuli
ka.
ka. And you know, little things like, dati di ba, pagka may report, sasabihin, gagawa pa ako ng sulat, ilang araw ko babasahin. But now you can actually use AI to help you analyze that and make it fast. Or simple things like writing a letter. Like, letter, simple letter. Hello, ang galing.
Oo, di ba?
Kaya-kaya na
Oo.
niyang i-deliver. And even more. Or visuals, whether it's posters or marketing materials. Kayang-kaya na yan ni ChatGPT or whoever, DeepSeek, whatever. Kaya na niya yan. So it's for us to really optimize and avail of it. And embrace it, as I always say. Yeah.
Ma'am, before we end, there is this saying na, familiar ka doon, that ship has sailed. Meron ka bang ganong pagkakataon na hindi mo na kayang balikan or ayaw mo nang balikan? Because that ship has sailed.
Yeah. The times, Pam, na we felt we were gonna lose everything because, you know, the regulations didn't work or we just didn't have enough cash. Oh my God, I had a lot of that.
So successful niyong to?
Oh my God,
You went through that?
Ay, nako.
Na parang wala ng pera,
Yeah,
gano'n?
yeah. So, si Chet bought a second-hand ship in Norway. And then, along the way, papunta pa rin siya from Norway, tapos kumuha kami ng mga cargo. Somewhere in between Indonesia and Singapore, nasira yung boat. And we were, my God, bleeding talaga. Na to the point na sweldo na bukas.
Maapektuhan.
Wala pa kaming pera. And that's our teamwork na tutulungan kami. And then, oh my God, talaga, sabi ko, hindi naman ako pinalaki na, I mean, you know, I grew up, Pam, na hindi ko naman inabot yung gano'n na wala na akong pampapasweldo bukas or wala akong makakain. I praise God na hindi naman gano'n ang inabot ko. But because of this business, naramdaman ko yan. Alam mo ba ginawa namin, Pam? Ginawa ko pala. I got my jewelry and then I went to my sister, my youngest sister. And then I said, sis, wala akong pampasweldo bukas. Ito yung alahas ko. Pwede bang hawakan mo to? Tapos, bigyan mo lang ako ng cash para may pampasweldo lang ako bukas. And so, yeah, yun nga, again, I'm grateful to have a rich sister who helped me at that time. And then, yun na nga, naraos namin yung sweldo. And after that, I told Chet yung ginawa ko. And then Chet kind of said, babe, I know we are undergoing problems, but that's not the way to solve it. So yun, over time, kinausap ni Chet yung kapatid ko na sabi niya, sis, okay, buy back ko na yung mga alahas ng kapatid mo, and that's not the way to do it. But yeah, so Pam, yun ang point ko. I wish we don't have to go through that. I hope to find certain kind of stability in this business because alam mo naman, napag-usapan na natin how important this business is and how we must, be profitable so that banks trust us, so that the best minds and the best talent work in the maritime industry so that we have a stronger maritime industry. That's the plan.
That is really very interesting to hear na you did not go through this success na very smooth because yan din naman yung challenges ng marami. Nakala nila everything in life pagdating sa success, it has always a shortcut. Your message to our young generation and your appeal to them to consider the maritime sector.
Okay, young people. Alam niyo po ba yung kanta ni Whitney Houston na I believe the children are our future. Okay. Wrong na po yan. Okay. Hindi po kayo ang future. Kayo po ang now. Kayo na po ang now. So, ang message namin sa inyong kabataan ay, really take that, leadership role and be proactive, in our future, yung future ninyo. So if it means being part of the solution, if it means being the best student and being the best worker, be that. Sana po be that. At sana po magsama-sama po tayong dito sa industriya maritima na palakasin po natin at pagalingin natin because tayo po ay napapaligiran ng katubigan. At sino pa po ang magmamahal at magpapalakas ng ating bayan kung hindi tayong mga Pilipino. So, young people, marami kayong young Filipino. Kayo po ang inaasahan ngayon. Now. Not the future. Now. Pam, maraming salamat for inviting me in great conversations. I truly had a great conversation with you. And so, everyone listening, i-like at subscribe naman po natin ang page ni Pam, Great Conversations with Pam, because definitely in this page at nanood na po ako, nangyayari talaga ang great conversation. Alam niyo po ako, Pam, idadagdag ko lang bago magbabay talaga, that I take time to listen to this when I'm in my room or I'm in the banyo or I'm cleaning. I still learn. I learn a lot. So please, like and subscribe. At idamay niyo na rin po, anytime, maritime, in Facebook. Thank you, Pam. Thank you.
That's Miss Marian Pastrana for you on Great Conversations. Our not so typical boss babe or lady boss, but because she's really so successful and she really has a heart as big as the sea. Thank you, guys.
So, the next time you shop, you travel, or merely enjoy the benefits of modern living, think of the maritime industry. Think of the moving bridges. And most of all, think of the men and women who keeps our ships sailing. Together, let us chart a course for a stronger maritime industry.